A sudden, piercing bark froze everyone. In stunned silence, the K-9 dog lunged at a police officer, teeth bared, body tense. Gasps rippled through the crowd. No one understood what was happening until the shocking secret behind the dog's actions was unraveled, leaving everyone speechless. Officer Jake Turner was stationed at a routine checkpoint near the courthouse. His K-9 partner, Max, a sleek German shepherd with intelligent eyes and a commanding presence, stood calmly by his side, surveying the crowd. Max was a veteran of the force, known for his sharp instincts and unwavering loyalty. Jake glanced down at Max, giving him a reassuring pat. "Another day, buddy," he murmured, his voice warm with familiarity. Max's ears twitched, his attention shifting briefly to a passing delivery truck, but he quickly returned to scanning the crowd. The day seemed normal until Max's demeanor changed. He straightened, his ears perked, and a low growl rumbled from deep in his chest. Something had caught his attention. Max's growl deepened into a sharp, insistent bark that cut through the air like a warning siren. Startled, pedestrians halted mid-step, turning toward the source of the commotion. Jake tightened his grip on Max's leash, commanding, "Quiet, Max." But the dog refused to obey. His bark grew louder, more urgent, echoing against the surrounding buildings. Other officers at the checkpoint glanced over, confusion and concern flickering across their faces. "What's gotten into him?" one murmured, approaching cautiously. Jake frowned, his instincts tingling. He trusted Max's judgment implicitly, and he had never seen the dog react this way. Without a clear reason, Max lunged forward, his body straining against the leash as if trying to get closer to someone. Following Max's intense focus, Jake's eyes landed on Officer Randall, a fellow member of the precinct, standing just a few feet away. Randall's hands were raised, palms outward, his face pale. "Hey, what's going on? Call your dog off," he shouted, trying to keep his voice steady. Max's barking only intensified, his entire body vibrating with restrained energy. The surrounding crowd murmured anxiously, phones lifted to capture the unfolding drama. Passers-by whispered theories, some suggesting a training mishap, others fearing something more sinister. Jake's heart raced. Max wasn't prone to mistakes, and his unwavering focus on Randall sent a chill down his spine. He had to decide. Was Max reacting to an unknown threat, or was there something deeper behind his alarming behavior? Officer Randall's face flushed red, his eyes darting nervously from Max to the gathering crowd. "What's your dog's problem, Jake?" he snapped, his voice tight with irritation and an undercurrent of fear. Jake hesitated, his gut twisting with uncertainty. Other officers approached, their hands hovering over their weapons, unsure of what to make of the situation. "Jake, control your dog," one of them urged. But Jake shook his head, his hand tightening on Max's leash. "Something's wrong," he said quietly. "Max doesn't react like this without reason." His voice trembled slightly, but his resolve was firm. Max's body trembled with tension, his bark relentless. His nose twitched and his ears were locked onto Randall as though reading something no human eye could see. The older officer shifted uncomfortably, glancing around, as though seeking an escape. "There's Nothing wrong here, he protested, but his voice cracked, betraying his anxiety. Jake exchanged a glance with Captain Ruiz, the senior officer at the inn. Ruiz stepped forward, his voice calm but commanding. Officer Randall, I need you to step aside and allow us to conduct a standard check. Randall opened his mouth to argue, but Ruiz's tone broke no resistance. Reluctantly, he nodded and stepped toward a nearby bench, his shoulders stiff. Max's barking subsided slightly as Jake knelt beside him, running a soothing hand down his back. The German shepherd remained tense, but no longer lunged forward. His instincts were clear. Something was hidden in plain sight. Jake's pulse quickened as he realized Mac's behavior wasn't a false alarm. It was a warning. As the murmurs of the gathering crowd intensified, Captain Ruiz gave a sharp nod to Jake. "Check him," he ordered. Quietly, Jake, heart pounding, motioned for two fellow officers to assist. Officer Randall, visibly sweating, reluctantly raised his arms as they approached. Max remained tense, his ears pinned back, his eyes locked on Randall. Like a laser, Jake approached slowly, his hand steady, but his mind racing. As he patted down Randall's uniform, his instinct screamed that something was off. Max gave a short, insistent bark, just as Jake's hand brushed against a concealed bulge beneath Randall's jacket. Jake exchanged a quick glance with Ruiz, then carefully unzipped the jacket. Inside was a small hidden compartment sewn into the lining, something that would be easy to overlook. Jake's breath caught as he pulled out a tightly wrapped package. The weight of it, the way it was concealed, sent a chill down his spine. Ruiz's eyes narrowed. "What is this, Randall?" he demanded. Randall's face turned ashen. "It's not what you think," he stammered, his voice. "I was going to turn it in. I just hadn't found the right moment." His excuses sounded hollow, his desperation obvious. Ruiz took the package and unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a stash of illegal substances, clearly packaged for distribution. The evidence was damning. A gasp rippled through the watching crowd, and several officers exchanged shocked glances. Jake's stomach twisted with disbelief. Randall's shoulders slumped, the fight draining out of him. "I didn't want to get involved," he mumbled. "But they threatened my family. I didn't know what else to do." His voice trembled and he sank onto the bench, burying his face in his hands. Max let out a soft whine, his body relaxing now that the truth had been revealed. Jake knelt beside him, scratching behind his ears. "You knew," he murmured softly. "You were trying to protect us all." Ruiz gave a quiet nod of respect. "He saved lives today," he said. "That dog knew something we missed. We owe him." Jake felt a deep swell of pride and gratitude for his loyal partner, the dog, whose instincts had exposed the hidden threat. The weight of the revelation hung thick in the air. As Ruiz examined the contents of the package, his jaw tightened. "This isn't just a stash," he said grimly, turning to Jake. "This is high-grade enough to supply a network." We were standing right next to it. Randall sat hunched over on the bench, his face pale and his hands trembling. The initial bravado was gone, replaced by the haunted expression of a man cornered by his own choices. "I didn't have a choice," he murmured, barely audible. "They threatened my wife, my kids. I thought if I could just get it through unnoticed, I could fix it later. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Max's growl, his relentless focus. It hadn't been random. The German shepherd had sensed something none of them had seen. His instincts were sharper than any scanner or patrol. They thought that this betrayal could have slipped past them if not for Max's intervention made Jake's stomach twist. Around them, officers exchanged stunned glances. The crowd outside had grown, whispers rippling like waves through the sea of faces. Phones were held high, capturing the scene as realization dawned. This wasn't just a simple incident. It was a betrayal from within. The force revealed not by suspicion, but by a dog's unwavering loyalty. Jake knelt beside Max, pride and gratitude flooding through him. He gave the dog a firm pat on the side, feeling the steady beat of his partner's heart. You did good, Max, he whispered. Randall was led away in handcuffs, his head bowed as the officers secured the scene. The murmurs of the crowd were replaced by quiet respect. Cameras flashed, but no one dared approach too closely. The betrayal of trust had left them all rattled. But amidst the shock stood a loyal German shepherd who had changed the narrative. Max sat quietly beside Jake, his head slightly tilted as if sensing the shift in energy. Jake knelt down, running a hand over the dog's thick fur, his voice soft but filled with pride. You saved us, Max, he murmured. You saw what none of us did. Max responded with a soft whine and a wag of his tail. Captain Ruiz approached, his expression a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. If it wasn't for Max, who knows what could have happened, he said quietly. He turned to the surrounding officers. This dog isn't just part of the force. He's a hero.